these chiefs to carry out a comprehensive operational and logistical audit following recent attacks on military formations in Beni Sheikh and Munguno, Borno State. The resolution passed during plenary today mandates an in-depth review of the circumstances surrounding the assaults, including an assessment of equipment adequacy and adherence to rules of engagement. Lawmakers also called on the armed forces to address any gaps identified in the course of the audit. The Senate also urged the military to investigate allegations of civilian harm during operations with a view to ensuring accountability and preventing future occurrences. Plateau State Government has filed charges against 5 suspects arrested by the Department of State Services, DSS, in connection with the Palm Sunday killings. The Palm Sunday attack, which occurred in March 2026, resulted in the killing of several persons in Angwa Rukuba, Jos North local government area of the state. The 5 suspects to be prosecuted for the killings were listed as Isa Ibrahim, Uwalu Dogo, Musa Yaroro, Ado Ibrahim, and Adamu Al-Hassan. The state government filed charges bordering on criminal conspiracy to commit terrorism and other related offenses against the first 4 suspects. The 5th suspect, Al-Hassan, is charged with criminal conspiracy, culpable homicide, illegal possession of firearms, and illegally dealing in arms and ammunition. The implementation of state policing alongside effective intelligence dissemination would significantly improve Nigeria's security landscape, according to a legal practitioner cum retired intelligence officer, Mr. Fatai Akinsomi, and a forensic cum security expert, Dr. Adewale Ayedun, will also go a long way in solving rising insecurity across the country. They made this assertion while discussing the topic, reintegration of 744 ex-terrorists matters arising on the BCOS Current Affairs Breakfast Program, AM 120. Our reporter, Fedora Falagboye, who monitored the program, has the details.
Concerns have emerged following the reintegration of 744 former terrorists into society, raising questions about national security, rehabilitation effectiveness, community safety, and long-term monitoring as stakeholders call for transparency, accountability, and sustainable strategies to prevent recidivism and ensure lasting peace. Discussing the topic on the BCOS Current Affairs Program, AM 120, a legal practitioner, cum retired intelligence officer, Mr. Fatai Akinsomi, noted that public apprehension over the reintegration initiative is understandable, adding that its outcome, whether positive or negative, will largely depend on how effectively the government manage its implementation. He further explained that the law permits the reintegration of offenders, including terrorists, into society upon genuine repentance, which underscores the rationale behind the transition from the term prison to correctional center.
If anybody heard about the announcement, I know many people will be afraidly apprehensive. How are you going to bring these people back into the system? Is this going to be a positive or a negative development? Personally, I share both views, and then everything depends on how the federal government, really manage the situation. The situation is not as bad as people are thinking, but it may be as worse if it is badly implemented, because it may be counterproductive at the end of the day.
Also featuring on the program, a forensic home security expert, Dr. Adewale Ayedun, expressed reservations about the reintegration process, noting that it is difficult to accurately determine those who have genuinely repented from those who have not. He further observed that the presence of double agents and moles within government institutions has enabled terrorists to access sensitive military intelligence, stressing the urgent need to address such internal security breaches.
Someone rose to the position of a general without going to war. Those who go to war, they will not be promoted. They won't be in the position of authority. Someone who is a sympathizer of Boko Haram will be at the top, commanding, giving order to those at the war front. How do you expect them to win the war? We need reorientation. We need to retrain our people. We need to go into what is going on. The government should ask questions. This thing has been prolonged since 2011.
Both security experts urged the government to demonstrate strong political will in addressing insecurity, emphasizing the need for deliberate and sustained effort to effectively tackle the challenge. Fedora Afalagwe, BCOS News.
You're watching news around the world on BCOS television. We pause now for a short commercial break. Please don't go away.
All right, everyone, no put your ears. Make we talk. Time don't reach to rearrange this house to give us small wisdom. Sounds mighty fresh now, but you know, I beg no be so. Before I go talk, say our smile no reach. Make not think I'm twice so. Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world?
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's a time to brush. No more cover mouth. Because we Colgate, that's who do ya got with your smile.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
Welcome back. Factional national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Senator Taminu Turaki, was arraigned today before a High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, sitting in Maitama. Turaki was arraigned on a one-count charge brought against him by the Inspector General of Police, IGP, in which he is accused of, among others, giving false information to the police. He was accused of giving false information to the IGP through a petition on his letterhead dated the 5th of October 2022, which he signed against one Saidi Muhammad Mainsara with intent to use the lawful power of the IGP to the injury or annoyance of the said Mainsara. The prosecution said the alleged offense is punishable under Section 140 of the Penal Code law. Turaki pleaded not guilty when the charge was read to him, following which the prosecution, Usman Rabiu, sought a date for the commencement of trial. The defense lawyer, Abdulaziz Ibrahim, SAN, informed the court about the motion for bail he filed for his client, pending hearing and determination of the case. The judge held that the prosecution did not place sufficient reason before the court before it to deny bail to the defendant. Justice Kememeke proceeded to grant Turaki bail at 100 million naira, but one surety in like sum. The House of Representatives today called on the federal government to urgently roll out policies to stabilize the prices of agricultural produce amid growing concerns over mounting losses by farmers across the country. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion moved by the lawmaker representing Ede North, Ede South, Egbedore, Ejigbo Federal Constituency of Osun State, Bamidele Salam, during plenary. Speaking on the substance of the motion, Salam described agriculture as the backbone of the Nigerian economy, noting its central role in employment generation, rural livelihoods, food security, and contribution to the gross domestic product, GDP. He, however, raised alarm over what he called a disturbing trend in the commodities market. He warns that the situation is already taking a toll on farmers who have committed significant resources to cultivation. The Oyo State Executive Council meeting, chaired by the Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has approved compensation for over 900 property owners whose lands were affected by the ongoing construction of the Ibadan Circular Road. In a statement signed today by the Commissioner for Information, Prince Dotun Oyelade, over 5.8 billion naira will be paid to these categories of people. The council noted that the compensation will not only put a stop to the agitation and misinformation surrounding this laudable project, but will also pave way for accelerated planning and development. The council recalls that over 800 million naira had earlier been paid in the first phase as compensation for displaced persons in the past 18 months. According to the commissioner, the council also approved over 710 million naira to cover transportation subsidy for the period between March and August 2026. Meanwhile, the first segment of compensation for over 900 property owners whose lands were affected by the ongoing construction of the Ibadan Circular Road is set to commence. This was contained in a statement by the Executive Assistant to the Governor on Security Matters, CP Sunday Odukoya. All affected claimers have been enjoined to report at the Governor's office, room 67, Secretariat Complex, Agodi. They have also been directed to the Ministry of Lands and Urban Development to check their names and come with required documents. These offices will be opened on the 24th of Friday, the 24th of April, 2026, from 8 a.m. to 4:30. Incidents in the home, ranging from minor cuts to serious emergencies like burns and electric shocks, continue to pose risks to individuals, especially children. Health experts say many of these incidents can be properly managed or prevented with basic first aid knowledge and safety precautions. Our reporter, Abimbola Ashawandi, takes a look at the importance of first aid and first aid kits in homes. Our report is presented by Olubumi Lawal.
From cuts and burns to falls and electrocution, domestic accidents can occur unexpectedly at home, making first aid knowledge essential for every household. Experts say first aid is the immediate care given to an injured person before professional medical attention is available. A representative of the Nigerian Red Cross Society, Oyo State branch, Mr. Ojo Olaleye, emphasized that every household must be equipped with basic first aid knowledge and tools.
At home, there are so many emergencies that can never happen that requires the use of first aid, which is very, very important that each and every household needs to have the knowledge of first aid.
Mr. Olaleye explained that in cases of cuts and bleeding, prayer should be applied immediately to stop blood flow, while the injured part can be braced slightly to reduce bleeding. He added that for burns, the affected area should be placed under running water for about 10 to 20 minutes, cautioning against the use of substances like oil and honey. He also stressed the importance of safety in cases of electrocution, noting that the power source must first be switched off before attempting to assist the victim. According to him, checking for breathing is crucial and cardiopulmonary resuscitation may be required if the victim is unresponsive.
People that are having breathing difficulties, we are encouraged that we carry out CPR on them to make sure that they are alive. Now, if people are having bleeding, we encourage that we stop the blood from flowing out, because when you lose excessive blood, there's tendency of crossing abroad the bridge, that's that person dying.
Mr. Olaleye further highlighted the importance of having a well-equipped first aid kit, which should contain antiseptics, bandages, gloves, and other essential materials. He advised that proper documentation of incidents can also help in preventing future occurrences.
Most of the time, when people have emergency at home or on the highway, they always lock up their head because they are tired, because they feel somehow. Now, the period that they are putting their head bent down, there is tendency for them to quickly cross over the bridge. So it is very important that whenever we are attending to any emergency, we need to allow the persons to open up this airway, probably by raising up his head so that the air can pass through the air passage and go straight to the lung.
As emergencies can occur without warning, experts emphasize that combining first aid knowledge with safety precautions remains key to saving lives and creating a safer home environment.
In today's fast-paced world, automated teller machine cards, also known as ATM cards, have made banking quick and convenient. But what happens when these cards suddenly stop working at critical moments? In this report, Olamide Owolabi examines the public's awareness of the expiry dates on their ATM cards.
ATM cards are primarily used to withdraw cash, check account balances, and transfer funds without the need to visit a banking hall. They are linked directly to customers' accounts and require a personal identification number PIN for secure transactions. Today, most ATM cards also function as debit cards, enabling users to pay for goods and services electronically, thereby making banking more convenient and accessible. These cards typically have a lifespan of 2 to 5 years, with the expiry date printed on the front, indicating the last month and year the card remains valid. Some people continue to use their cards without paying attention to the expiry date printed on them. But what happens when an ATM card suddenly declines due to expiration? This often becomes a challenge during emergencies or urgent situations when access to funds is needed immediately. In such situations, customers may be unable to carry out transactions, leading to delays and frustration. Some residents of Ibadan expressed reactions about their awareness of expiry dates and how they'll be paying attention to it.
The one will expire 27. I know that because I don't have only one. I know that one will expire 2028. I always use it. I have no any problem at all.
Kó tó expire gan mo ti máa ṣe mí torí pé everyday mo fi máa ń withdraw owó tí mo fi máa ń ṣe àwọn ọjà tí máa ń ṣe jáde. Ẹ mọ̀ pé wọ́n lè debit nínú pé bóyá mo lọ ṣe transaction ní di BCOS kí n má rówó mi gbà kán dẹ̀ debit mi, so mo prefer àti lo di ATM.
Some also said they are not aware of the expiry date, while attempting transactions with cards they did not realize had expired.
The time I use it when I want to withdraw money, like weekly. What about the expiry? I did not take notice of that.
Money ATM, mi ò mọ̀ o. Mo kì í sábà lò ní gbogbo ìgbà. Mi ò kì í sábà wò ó because it's not something that is a daily use, so mi ò kọ bí ara sí.
Money ATM card. Mo máa ń lo but mi láìdí àpé bóyá ó máa expire tàbí kò ní expire. The first time tí màá kọ́kọ́ lò ní.
I went to the ATM box. I slot it in, and then it was rejected. So telling me that it has expired. So I have to look at it and I can get it that it's already expired. So after that, I've been taking note of it.
The best course of action is to promptly contact your bank for a card renewal or explore alternative banking options such as mobile banking or transfers. Ultimately, paying attention to expiry dates and renew cards on time remain the most effective way to avoid inconvenience, embarrassment, and disruption during critical moments. Olamide Owolabi, BCOS News.
Markets remain vital systems through which goods and services are exchanged. Over time, the concept has evolved from physical locations where buyers and sellers interact face-to-face to digital platforms enabling transactions across the globe. Staff reporter Olubunmi Lawal examines both traditional and online markets, highlighting their features, advantages, and challenges.
Traditional markets are physical locations where buyers and sellers meet directly to exchange goods and services. These include local markets, street markets, and shopping centers. They are characterized by face-to-face interaction, physical inspection of goods before purchase, and immediate exchange of goods and payments, often within fixed operating hours. On the other hand, Online markets are digital platforms where transactions are conducted over the internet. These include e-commerce websites, mobile applications, and social media marketplaces. Online trading allows access to a wide range of products from different sellers, offering greater convenience, wider reach, and the use of digital payment systems. Some traders and buyers in traditional markets told BCOS News they prefer physical transaction as it allows them to verify the quality of goods and negotiate prices directly.
When I go to the market, I see what I want to buy, and if it is okay for me, I get to pay for it based on my own personal interest. But online marketing, sometimes it is not what you order for that you may get. So I prefer traditional markets to online marketing.
Prefer traditional markets. Traditional markets gives room for bargaining, but online there's a fixed price already, so you just have to buy that amount. Traditional marketing, also, you have varieties, you have options, but for online marketing, it's what is there is what is there.
Kò sí ní tí ò tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn, kán ọ̀dà, kán dẹ̀ wá, kò sí ní tí ò dá wa lọ́rùn báyẹn. Àmọ́ káwọn èèyàn wá ó sì pè wá ju torí máa rí nǹkan tí máa fẹ́ rà ju kán ọ̀dà lọ.
Kò sí nǹkan tó ní advantages àti òní disadvantages. Tí wọ́n bá gbé ọjà fún láti online, wọ́n yóò pé nǹkan tí at times nǹkan tí ẹ ó dà kan náà máa gbé fún yín. But tẹ́ bá wá sọ́jà, advantages ọ̀rẹ́ tí ẹ wá sọ́jà, ẹ máa rí nǹkan tí ẹ fẹ́ rà clearly. So ọkàn yá balẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀ ju online at times. So gbogbo ẹ méjèèjì ó wọnú ara wọn.
Meanwhile, online sellers say digital platforms give them broader visibility, attracting customers from different parts of the world. Buyers also noted that online shopping enables them to place orders conveniently from the comfort of their homes.
I'm a business owner online, so I believe online connects you to many people. Like I am currently staying in Ibadan. I can send stuff over to Kwara State, even the northern part of Nigeria. So I'll say online marketing is very okay, but we should not cancel traditional markets.
There is not much difference between the two, but sometimes we have orders online more than walk-ins, because we have different people ordering from interstate, and outside states. The list we have sometimes is like 50 customers, the list we have, but the sales is very, very much.
I prefer online markets because sometimes you might not feel like going to market and want to order things online. And also, is this thing, if you don't check their list very well, you might be like, this bag is of this size, but if you don't follow it, that's why some people will just be like, they prefer like going to market because they feel like, if they order something online, it might not be what the person will bring to them.
Both traditional and online markets continue to play significant roles in modern commerce. While traditional markets offer personal interaction and instant satisfaction, online markets provide convenience and wider accessibility. Increasingly, many businesses are adopting hybrid approach, combining both systems to expand their reach and improve efficiency. Olupmi Lawal, BCOS News.
We have another timeout. Please stay tuned.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, enriched with 95% pure vitamin C and pulp extract. For visibly radiant and even-toned skin in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, for your shade of beautiful.
In today's fast-paced world, staying ahead demands peak performance from our bodies.
Like never before, our bodies need an optimum supply of essential nutrients, and Supermalt supports our daily nutritional needs.
Supermalt has 20 essential vitamins, minerals, and natural extracts for overall health and wellness. One Supermalt a day gives you energy and vitality, improves your mental performance, and supports your immunity.
Many thanks for staying tuned. The rapid expansion of internet access and digital technology is reshaping how people consume written content. Increasingly, readers, particularly young and urban populations, are turning to online platforms for convenience, affordability, and instant access. This growing preference for digital content is placing pressure on traditional publishers, challenging long-established business models and revenue streams. Our correspondent, Mitokpe Ogunleye, put this report together.
Digital content is faster and more accessible. However, experts say it is important to distinguish online differs from the structured textbooks produced by publishers, which are based on curricula approved by the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council. These textbooks remain essential in schools, particularly for students preparing for examinations, making print materials stay highly relevant. Speaking on the development, President of the Nigerian Publishers Association, Alhaji Lukman Dauda, said online reading has had limited impact on core publishing operations, especially in the education sector.
Most of what we have there are what we call general titles, that is readers, fiction and non-fiction stories. That's what we have there. But talking of core curriculum books, that's classroom text. You can hardly find them there. Simply because the rate of assimilation reading on digital device is quite low compared to you reading the print. You can be reading, but are you assimilating? So, to a very large extent, at least in this environment I have ours, and I won't say here alone, you probably have been privy to, a recent release from Sweden that happens to be one of the few countries that went digital since about 15 years ago. And they had to refer to the printing now, or the print books, because their assessment and evaluation of performance of students showed that the rate failure was getting higher and higher by the year. So what did they do? They reverted to the old order. The old order is the paper book.
He explained that most online materials do not directly compete with curriculum-based textbooks, which continue to play a critical role in academic learning and assessment.
There's no way the digital option will override the print option. We need to accommodate it as another alternative, especially with the kind of mentality I mentioned earlier of an average Nigerian. They turn into the class thing, that if you can't read on your device, you don't belong. But that is not the issue. The issue is how much of knowledge do you gain by reading, through your device compared to reading the paper. And because of reading on your device, so many other things will be popping up, like cookies, things they call cookies. So those ones are distractions. And if you are not careful, you will now be paying more attention to the distractions than the major thing that you're doing.
Alhaji Dauda added that while some publishers have adopted digital formats, these are largely focused on general reading materials such as fiction and non-fiction. Core textbooks in notes remains predominantly in print. As a result, the overall volume of print production has not been significantly affected by the rise of online reading. The MP president maintained that print publishing remains dominant, stressing that students often retain information better while reading from physical books. He concluded that both print and digital formats will continue to coexist, noting that distractions associated with digital devices make printed books more effective for focused learning.
Over now to the sports segment of the news. Please don't go anywhere.
Good evening, you're welcome to the sports segment of the evening news. My name is Toby Ajewale.
Nigeria's D Tigers have lent their fate for the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup in Germany. The official draw has placed the African champions in Group B, a pool defined by a grueling mix of tactical styles. The D Tigers will tip off their campaign against France, the European powerhouses and perennial podium contenders. Hungary, which is a physical discipline side known for their defensive rigors, while South Korea brings an Asian elite specialist in speed and perimeter shooting. While the Nigerian roster is considered aging by some analysts, their recent track record of upsetting top 10 opposition makes them dark horse of the group. Elsewhere, Mali faces a steep climb in Group A against Spain and host Germany, while USA remains the best team to beat in Group D. And to football. In the Nigeria Premier Football League, the hammer of discipline has fallen heavily on Kano Pillars following a series of security failures during their match against Rivers United on April 19th. The league management has handed down a staggering 15 million naira in total fines. The charges against the Seimei Sugida include failure to prevent pitch encroachment and harassment of match officials by the crowd, with fines totaling 15 million naira for repeated unsporting behavior and bringing the game to disrepute. The club will now play their next 3 home matches in an empty stadium, 1 to close out the season and 2 to start the next. Pillars have a narrow 48-hour window to appeal these landmark sanctions. And in Spain, the title race is refusing to go quietly as Real Madrid secured a vital 2-1 victory over Alaves at the Bernabeu, spearheaded by their superstar duo. Kylian Mbappe opened the scoring with a clinical 24th league goal before Vinicius Jr. doubled the advantage early in the second half. Despite a late consolation goal from Alaves' Tony Martinez, the win moves Alvaro Arbeloa's men within 6 points of leaders Barcelona, who plays later tonight. However, the pressure is immense with Madrid already out of the Champions League. Arbeloa likely needs a domestic trophy to save his job at the Bernabeu. Finally, in sport news tonight, a tragic chapter in modern football history was written at the King Power Stadium, where Leicester City were relegated to League One, completing a stunning fall from grace exactly 10 years after their miracle Premier League title win in 2016. The Foxes needed a win against Hull City to keep their survival hopes alive, despite a spirited second-half comeback with goals from Jordan James and Luke Thomas. A late equalizer from Oli McBurney condemned Leicester to the 3rd tier.
And that will be all. And it's back to news around the world. My name is Toby Ajewale.
Thanks, Toby. On the foreign scene, at least 13 people have been killed in an explosion at a firecracker factory in India's southern state of Kerala. Foreign desk editor Folashade Akintola compiled the story and others as presented by Khadija Lawal.
The incident took place in Thrissur, where around 40 people were believed to be assembling firecrackers in a cluster of sheds for an upcoming festival. Several others were injured, with 5 reported to be in critical condition. This was the second such incident this week. On Sunday, a blast at a firecracker factory in neighboring Tamil Nadu state left at least 25 dead. Accidental explosions are a grim routine in India's fireworks industry, recurring with troubling regularity, most visibly around Sivakasi in Tamil Nadu, which produces much of the country's supply. The explosion in Thrissur on Tuesday around 3:30 local time triggered secondary blasts that slowed rescue efforts. Firecrackers were being made in temporary sheds near paddy fields with poor road access, hampering emergency response. Kerala's Revenue Minister, K. Rajan, told the press that all fireworks units preparing for the upcoming Thrissur Puram, a major annual Hindu temple festival, had permission to manufacture and store fireworks in designated areas. Meanwhile, Iran has captured 2 foreign commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz and moved them to its coast, in a further escalation that comes hours after United States President Donald Trump said he would extend a ceasefire with Tehran. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, said the vessels had violated maritime regulations and entered the strategic waterway without coordination, according to Iranian state media. The capture follows Wednesday's incident in which an Iranian gunboat fired on a container vessel near Oman, according to the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations (UKMTO) Centre. The British Maritime Monitoring Agency said the ship's captain reported that the ship had been approached by an IRGC vessel before shots were fired. The Strait of Hormuz, through which roughly a fifth of the world's oil supply passes, remains one of the most strategically significant waterways. And lastly, Russian drones have attacked Ukraine's main Black Sea ports in the southern city of Odessa and the railway in the region of Zaporizhia, killing a train driver, according to Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister, Oleksiy Kuleba. The overnight attacks damaged the infrastructure of the Odessa ports, including berths, water houses, railway infrastructure, and port operators' facilities, Kuleba said in a statement on X today. The attack on a sorting yard at the Zaporizhia Life Station in the southern Zaporizhia region killed an assistant train driver, he said, adding that the main driver was injured and is receiving treatment at a hospital. Russia also launched several drones and missiles on a flight path near the disused Chernobyl nuclear plant, elevating the risk of a significant accident, according to the Ukraine's top state prosecutor. Ukraine, which has limited air defenses, concentrates them near populated areas and important infrastructure to maximize their utility against Russian attacks. The country's army said it downed 189 out of 215 Russian drones overnight, adding that 24 drones were recorded hitting 13 locations, as well as falling debris at 6 locations, while many drones remain in the airspace. Khadija Lawal, BCOS News.
To end news around the world, here again are the top stories. The federal government today arraigned 5 of the alleged masterminds of a plot to overthrow the administration of President Bola Tinubu through a coup d'etat. Factional national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Senator Tanimu Turaki, was arraigned today before a high court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, sitting in Maitama. The Oyo State Executive Council meeting, chaired by the Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has approved compensation for over 900 property owners whose lands were affected by the ongoing construction of the Ibadan Circular Road. And on the foreign scene, at least 13 people have been killed in an explosion at a firecracker factory in India's southern state of Kerala. BCOS website is live. Kindly visit www.bcostv.com. You can also reach us on GoTV channel 134 and on StarTimes channel 113. Now, before I go, don't join hoodlums in threatening the peaceful coexistence of the country, for it is only in an atmosphere of peace that development thrives. That's news around the world from me and the team here. Many thanks for watching. Good night.